World War I, also known as the Great War, was a global conflict that lasted from July 28, 1914, to November 11, 1918. Here are some key facts about World War I. The war was triggered by a complex web of political, economic, and military factors. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary on June 28, 1914, is often considered the catalyst that set off the conflict. This event led to a series of alliances and treaties being activated, drawing in multiple nations. The war pitted two main alliances against each other. The Central Powers included Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. The Allied powers consisted of France, Russia, the United Kingdom, Italy, later joined the Allies, Japan, and several other nations. Trench warfare was a defining feature of World War I, particularly on the Western Front. Soldiers dug intricate systems of trenches that stretched for hundreds of miles. These trenches were heavily fortified and often subjected to brutal conditions, including mud, disease, and constant threat of enemy fire. World War I saw the introduction of new and deadly weapons such as machine guns, tanks, poison gas, and aircraft. These technological advancements changed the nature of warfare and led to higher casualties. The war was fought on various fronts, including the Western Front, primarily in France and Belgium, the Eastern Front, mainly between Germany and Russia, and the Italian Front. Battles also took place in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Several significant battles occurred during World War I. Some of the notable battles on the Western Front include the Battle of the Somme and the Battle of Verdun. On the Eastern Front, the Battle of Tannenberg and the Brusilov Offensive were important engagements. The United States initially maintained a policy of neutrality but entered the war on the side of the Allies in 1917. Partly due to unrestricted submarine warfare by Germany and the interception of the Zimmermann telegram, in which Germany proposed a military alliance with Mexico against the United States. The strains of war, coupled with economic and social discontent, led to the Russian Revolution in 1917. Tsar Nicholas II abdicated, and the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, took power, eventually signing the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with Germany, ending Russia's involvement in the war. The war ended with the signing of the Treaty of Versailles on June 28, 1919, at the Palace of Versailles in France. The treaty imposed harsh penalties on Germany, including territorial losses, disarmament, and reparations, setting the stage for future geopolitical tensions. World War I had a devastating human toll, with an estimated 8.5 million military personnel and 6.5 million civilians losing their lives. Many soldiers returned from the war with physical and psychological scars, contributing to the collective trauma of the era. World War I had profound and lasting impacts on the global political landscape, economy, and society. It played a significant role in shaping the events of the 20th century and beyond. World War I, the cataclysmic conflict that redefined the modern world. World War I, also known as the Great War, was a watershed event that reshaped the course of history and laid the foundation for the modern world. Lasting from 1914 to 1918, this global conflict involved many of the world's great powers and ignited a series of events that transformed political, social, and economic dynamics on a global scale. The roots of World War I can be traced back to a complex network of alliances that existed between major European powers. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary in Sarajevo on June 28, 1914, acted as the catalyst that set off a domino effect of declarations of war. Austria-Hungary's ultimatum to Serbia, backed by Germany's assurance of support, ultimately led to a chain reaction involving Russia, France, and the United Kingdom. The war quickly escalated into a brutal conflict characterized by trench warfare. The Western Front, a network of trenches spanning hundreds of miles from the North Sea to the Swiss border, epitomized the horrors of industrialized warfare. Soldiers endured unimaginable conditions, living in squalor, facing constant threats from artillery bombardments, chemical weapons, and deadly diseases like trench foot. The lack of strategic breakthroughs led to a stalemate, resulting in a war of attrition that claimed the lives of millions. World War I witnessed rapid technological advancements in weaponry and warfare. Machine guns, tanks, airplanes, and chemical weapons like mustard gas revolutionized combat tactics. These innovations, while deadly, also exposed the limitations of traditional military strategies. The use of poison gas, in particular, shocked the world and underscored the urgent need for international agreements on warfare methods. While centered in Europe, World War I was a global conflict that involved colonies and nations from various corners of the world. Empires such as the British, French, German, Ottoman, and Russian were embroiled in the conflict, leading to widespread destruction and loss of life in far-flung regions. The war also had profound social and economic consequences. The sheer scale of death and devastation prompted calls for societal change and reform. Women played an increasingly vital role on the home front, accelerating the suffrage movement and reshaping gender roles. The war came to an end in 1918 with an armistice agreement, and the Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1919. This treaty imposed heavy reparations on Germany, redrawing borders and dismantling empires. However, the harsh terms sowed the seeds for future conflicts, contributing to the rise of extremist ideologies and setting the stage for World War II. World War I's legacy is a poignant reminder of the devastating consequences of nationalism, militarism, and the failure of diplomacy. The war fundamentally altered the global order, accelerating the decline of traditional empires and paving the way for the emergence of new world powers. It also highlighted the need for international cooperation and institutions to prevent such widespread carnage in the future. World War I was a monumental event that forever changed the trajectory of the 20th century. Its impact continues to be felt in the 21st century, as its lessons serve as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked nationalism and the importance of diplomacy. As we reflect on the sacrifices made and the lessons learned from this cataclysmic conflict, let us strive to build a world that values peace, cooperation, and the pursuit of common goals.